Traceability, in terms of traceability, you know that for Agile, it's all about the traceability forward. So there's something called as forward traceability. So this is where the concept, there's a business idea, and then how that gets translated into a product, actual product. So from the idea that I want to have a fantastic site that serves mobile phone accessories is what we have. And from there, a site that would not just have the delivery capability, but also that actually works well with the back-end suppliers, and then be able to place the orders, send them the orders, and then they would fulfill that, and then we close the loop by tracing it back all the way to the original order, whether it's been done or not. So again, original kind of idea, the vision. So you need to actually constantly check whether your product that you've delivered, whether it's a product, an application, whether process, change initiative, program, whatever it is that we're working on, is that fulfilling the original vision? Is it matching to the idea, the concept that we had initially? So that would kind of close the loop. So that's what it's called. Forward traceability is the idea to product, and backward traceability is the product back to the idea. That constant checking of whether we've got the verification, the validation of that idea to the product, and from the product back to the idea. And that's where Agile really works. And that could actually be facilitated in Agile with what we call as a product backlog. I was talking about the backlog initially, right? So we check everything, your requirements, your tasks, your changes, change requests, defects, everything gets chucked into the product backlog and gets prioritized by the product owner and the team. They work with what we call as release backlog. So you've got the major release and the minor release. So you actually split some of the items from this. You've got 1,000 items in the product backlog or a period of a year, and you actually kind of shortlist some of them, filter some of those, and then you actually follow, let's say, Moscow prioritization, which is what we're going to discuss in the Tuesday session next week, which is about the scoping and prioritization. We'll talk about all the ways how we can prioritize the backlog, how we can refine and groom, what we call as grooming of the backlog, and then how we can actually kind of use some of the other prioritization technique like Kano model. So we're going to discuss all of these in greater detail in the Tuesday session, which is coming up next week. That's called Deep Dive on Scoping and Prioritization. So you can, if you want, you can sign up for that, or obviously you are in a mailing list, so we can send you the details for that, the agenda and what you're going to get out of that session. So that's the backlog release. The prioritization happens, and then you actually get that into the sprint. So this is like, for example, a 1-year version of what you want to do. The release backlog is about the 6-month version of it, what you want to do in the next 6 months. And the iteration backlog could be about what you're going to do in the next 3 weeks. Yeah, so that's the kind of constant checking about whether you're meeting this or not. And again, this goes on and on. So you go back to the backlog every now and then, get the feedback from the customers, from the users, again, chuck it in, put the changes, add the defects in there, reprioritize, reshuffle, refine the backlog, groom it, again, work on that, and allocate those 5 items into the sprint backlog. So this is how the loop of the cycle of improvement works in Agile. So you see, that's the reason why Agile is successful. It's because you have a fantastic control over what you're doing. And you also know whether you're going the right direction or wrong direction immediately, rather than after 2 years, 3 years, like in the waterfall. You're actually going to course correct your processes, your product direction, your application features and functionality, not after 2 years or 3 years, but perhaps in weeks and months in Agile. So you're not really spending a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money on the rework. You don't have to really change, course correct. You're not really in a Titanic. You're actually in a kind of, I'm not sure if you've ever done a kayaking. It's easy to do that kayak. You're in a kayak, you can actually change the direction just by rotating. If you want left or right, you can just change the paddle and you can actually kind of go there. Or even if you use a single paddle, you can use that paddle to just change the direction easily without having to turn loads of wheels or loads of those big steering stuff, like what we do in the boats and the ships. So it's like a kayak, the Agile development project, because you know where you're going, you're lean, you're just one person, you're not 100 people in a kayak, right? So you can actually get to see, they've got complete visibility. It's not blocked. In a kayak, you are not blocked. It's open view. You're just here. It's a small little, not even a boat. It's a small little structure which you can just sit. That's it. All you've got is a space to sit for yourself, maybe one more person. That's it. And you've got a fantastic view about everything. You know what is coming up. You know what is on the back of you. You know what is happening around, and you can steer easily. You just have got one paddle to just either move and also take the direction. You can turn left or right just with that paddle. Just turn that and then do it. You go left and do it this way. You go right, and all you need to do is just constantly. If you just move your paddle and you're progressing ahead and going in the right direction.